Hey guys, and welcome to our How to Handyman series. In this video, we're actually going to do something a bit different. We're going to go through how I started my handyman business and potentially how you could start yours. So what did I do before I started my handyman business? Well, I'm actually an engineer by trade. I'm actually an electrical engineer. And I spent the first few years out of uni travelling around the world fixing machinery that was broken. I was very lucky to work in an industry actually doesn't exist anymore, which is the printing industry. But that gave me a great grounding on how to fix things when they're broken, because generally in that role I was working in the electronic space, and that was something that in those days was actually relatively new. So I get thrown into a machine, might be a printing press, big as a building. I'd walk in, it wouldn't be working, and I need to fix it. So I soon learned how to stand on my own 2 feet, and I also started to learn how to think laterally and logically in order to solve a problem. Now, solving problems in the building trade is actually no different to actually doing that. From there, I actually moved over into the IT industry, which again sounds a little bit strange, but not really. Moved from electronics to IT back in the day when IT was just getting going. That was actually, a lot of fun, and I had some great experiences working in IT and learning all about the computer industry. I suppose as my career developed though, I moved into more and more in management roles, and then moved into fixing businesses that were broken, and so it became more of a business and a management role, which was great, except the stress levels in doing those jobs was just astronomical. I used to spend at least 6 to 8 months a year overseas, or travelling on aeroplanes, or going to living out of a suitcase. Which really did nothing from for my health and well-being. And so a couple of years ago, I took the opportunity I finished the project, and I took the opportunity to take 12 months off to build a house. Now, it's actually about the third house that I've done an owner-builder on, so I've built myself. And over those times, I've generally engaged contractors to work with me, helping me build those projects. And I learnt a lot of skills and just general handyman skills from working around and the other tradesmen, and really being their apprentice per se. So when I did the last house build, I took a slightly different approach, and that was to really get hands-on and to learn all of the skills that were missing, all the gaps that I had in my education. I really took some time to learn those skills. So and the building of the last house, it was supposed to be a 12-month project, and like these projects, it took 2 years to do. But in that time, I was able to really up my skill level, so that I knew by the time I was getting towards the end of doing my apprenticeship with some of the other trades, that I was getting good enough to be able to start in a little bit of a business. And in fact, initially I didn't even realise that I was actually good enough to go out and to start the business. But it was just that a number of the other trades that I would bring in would be asking me, who did that rendering? Who did the tiling for you? Who did the painting? And so it was really quite gratifying to be able to say to them, well, actually I did. And so I suppose once that project came towards an end, the house got finished, I then had a choice. I could go back to working in the IT industry. I had another project coming up, which meant I would have had to have gone overseas for another few months. But I just really enjoyed the building process and didn't really want to go back to it. So a friend of mine said, why don't you just put an ad on Facebook? So that's exactly what I did. I put a little ad on Facebook just to say if anybody wants some odd jobs done or some small building work or little jobs done around the place, I'm more than happy to help. Those jobs that other people don't want to touch. And on the first day, I got 2 weeks worth of work. And by the end of those 2 weeks, I had 2 months worth of work. And by the end of the 2 months, I was just off and running. I had more work than I knew what to do. So, the business has really developed and grown from that little, one ad on Facebook, really taken off. Why did I change over? Well, to be honest, I think the stress levels had got so high in my previous role that I just simply couldn't go on like that anymore. I needed to make a change, not only for my own sanity, but probably for the sanity of my family as well, and just for overall good health and a little bit more control. I certainly was not happy in the corporate space. Thought I was, and I was relatively successful at it. But I think reality, or certainly what I've learnt since moving over into this business, is it's the best move I've ever made. And I should have probably done it 20 or 30 years ago. But we all have life experiences, don't we? So we all learn, and I think a lot of the strengths, the things I learnt in management, the things I learnt from my previous careers, have all compounded to make me the person I am today, and to make me a really good handyman, and make the job and the changing career, really value that changing career. What are the customers like? The customers have been a lot of fun. In fact, they've been fabulous. Because I think without the customers, obviously the job would be, there wouldn't be a job. But I can honestly say, I've probably got 300, 400, maybe 500 customers on my books now. And I've maybe had 3 that have not quite gone to plan. So that's not a bad batting average. And I've found the customers to be amazingly trustworthy, a lot of fun, really helpful, really grateful for the changes that you're able to make for them. And I think there's sometimes this almost like a fight between customers and tradespeople. It doesn't have to be that way. I turn up to a job in the morning and I've generally got a cup of coffee waiting for me, and we have a laugh and a joke all day. The customers love it. I love it. We all get on really well, and I've got some really nice I've met some really nice, friendly people, and I've got some really good friends coming out of this role as well. And it's something I would not have experienced had I stayed in the corporate space. Do you need to stay within your skill level? Yeah, absolutely. Because if you're going to have a successful handyman business, you need to be really good at what you do. I certainly have an eye for detail, and I'm quite particular about the quality of the product that I put out for my customers. And you really need to do the same, because customers, they're paying good money for you to provide them a service. So you actually do need to provide a really good level of service. And if you can't, then that's where you either need to get help, or you say, no, I can't do the job. So do I have backup and support? Yeah, absolutely. One of the things I really made sure that I do have with this business is to make sure that I have a group of professionals around me, that when I need specialist trades, or we need things signed off, or we need some really specific skills, then I have those. So I have a builder that I work with. So if I'm unsure about anything that I'm doing, I can refer that off to him and get his advice. He's been in the industry in the building industry for the last 50 years, and so his knowledge is just immense. So again, I can call on him when I need to. And if the job's too big for me, I'm more than happy to shoot that job over to somebody else. Similarly, if it comes to plumbing work or electrical work or work that requires specific regulations, then I obviously don't touch any of that work. But I have a list of trusted people that I've built up and trusted relationships that I've built up over the past few years. So that if a customer says to me, have you got a plumber you can recommend? I go, yeah, absolutely. And it's also about knowing your limits. So in my case, there's jobs that I'm just simply not good at. So if one of those jobs comes up, perhaps concreting, carpet laying is one. I just simply won't attempt it, and I would much rather give the customer the name of a professional that I know is really good. Education. Actually, that was another interesting one. I went back to school. So, which was interesting at the age of 50 to go back to school and to go back into learning again. It was immensely enjoyable. It's not only did I actually learn something and learn a lot about the building trade and regulations and health and safety and a whole bunch of things I didn't know about, but by coming to it as a mature age student, I think I got a lot more out of it because I was there and at school and doing things because I wanted to. It wasn't as if I've been thrown into going to college straight out of high school with no experience. The building trade was something I really wanted to learn about, and so by going back to school, I got some really great scores and really enjoyed the whole process, and come out with a qualification at the end. What's my favourite job? Well, actually, I've had so many. I think probably the one I'm doing at the moment, and it doesn't really matter what that is. I think right at this moment in time, I'm tiling around the outside of a pool in the middle of winter, which it's been a real learning experience. And I think one of the great things about being a handyman is you never stop learning. You never stop learning about doing new things and new techniques. And that's what I enjoy, is that continual learning and being able to put out a finished product which is just you really can be proud of. So what about the financial risks? Look, there always is. There's with any change there's always going to be a risk. But interestingly, yes, it was hard like any small business when I first got going to generate the reliable income, but it sort of happens and you sort of make it work, and then before you know it the business is off and running on its own 2 feet, and you don't need to worry anymore. And then it's more how do I make the business bigger, or how do I make the business how I want it to be. What's the worst thing that has happened to me as a handyman? Wow, what's the worst thing? I don't think I've really had any really bad experiences. We've had a few, slide on your belly under a house through mud and sludge and God knows what. Can be interesting at times. Certainly sticking a nail through a water pipe just after you'd sealed up the entire bathroom and have water squirting 30 feet across the room. That was good fun. But all those things are fixable. There's nothing really to get too worried about. I managed to sand over, I'll use my planer and plane over the electric cord, nearly electrocuted myself once. But again, electrician had just been in the day before and put safety switches in anywhere. So whilst there was a bang and a flash, no harm was actually done. So, no, I don't know. I just really enjoy being a handyman, and it's such a changing career from what I used to do that it's still all quite new and quite exciting. So, a lot of fun. Do you get tired and exhausted? I think by the end of a week, if I've had a really heavy, hard work, physically, you do need to be relatively fit to do the job. Or at least you'll build that fitness as you go. So, it certainly beats sitting behind a desk every day, because you're always out doing stuff, whether that be lifting or moving or, carrying things, banging a nail in, or as I was doing this week, laying huge tiles all week. So it was probably had some aches and pains by the end of the week, but they're good aches and pains. and I'm much less likely to die of a heart attack out, when I'm out and getting fit and losing a bit of weight than if I was sitting behind a desk in an office every day. So what's next with the business? Well, one of the great things about having your own business like this is that you can do whatever it is you want. If you want to hire more people, you want to grow the business, you can do that. If you want to keep it small and just very personal, then you can do that as well. Obviously, I'm starting to grow the business a little through social media, doing videos like this, videos that are helpful for my customers, building the YouTube channel. That's all something that I'm putting together just to help give a better level of service to my customer base and just help spread the message a little bit as well. So should you start a handyman business? Yeah, well, I think you'll probably get that it's worked for me. So, if I can do it, I'm pretty sure that you can do it as well. Just make sure that you've got a good support group of people. If you need training, you need education, you need help, then ask. You'll be amazed how willing people around you will be to actually give you a hand to do things. And if you need help, you want some advice, shoot a question through to us as well, or through to me. I'm more than happy to help and assist in any way I can actually do it. And watch out for our next videos, which will be about how to use social media for sales and marketing for your handyman business and to get that up and going. And I'm sure we'll have a couple of others on how to manage contractors and those sorts of things as well. So watch out for, please like the video if you like what you saw, subscribe to the channel, and look out for the next videos we put out. See you soon. So if you're unsure about changing careers, should you? Well, in my experience, all I can say is that changing from the office work, corporate life, and being able to get out onto the tools and actually do things is so immensely rewarding. I don't have to sit in pointless meetings listening to pointless PowerPoints or pointless presentations. Not saying they're all pointless. When I can actually be out there, do a job, make a difference, and be able to see the happiness on a customer's face when you're able to do a job for them, something they've always wanted to get done.